Hello YouTubers, here's another video. Happy Easter by the way, and well, hope everything's fine up there in vinyl land. I'm going to show just a couple of records that I bought the last couple of weeks and I've been listening to and that I think are worth mentioning here. Maybe 10 years ago, no more than 10 years ago, 13, 14, yeah, around 13 or 14 years ago, I first heard about a Norwegian singer and songwriter called Odd Nordstoga, and he just had this big breakthrough with his album Luring. And I got very fond of his music and his records, and I bought a couple of CDs. But lately I've been thinking, well, yeah, CDs are alright, but wouldn't be nice to have them on vinyl. But then, by accident, I found out that last year he has actually been reissuing several of his albums on vinyl, so I got hold of two of them. This is probably his most famous one, Luring, original from 2005? No, 4. This contains his big hit Kvällsång för dig och mig. Here in Sweden he's not that famous, but in Norway he's really big, and quite rightly so. He's a great singer and songwriter, Odd Nordstoga, and the style is like folk pop with a bit of country elements, very rootsy, but closely connected to the Norwegian folk music, and also very likable, nice songs. I bought another one too. This is Dette Landet, looks like that, from I think from 2000 and not sure, but maybe, well, it's a couple of years old. Many others of his albums have been issued on vinyl, and I might get more of them because nice pressings and really good music that sounds very nice on vinyl. Not surprising at all, because they have a nice acoustic sound. Right, oops. I also got a couple of Leonard Cohen albums that I didn't have, some of his later ones. Well, first of all, this one, You Want It Darker, his last album that was issued shortly before his death last year. No, in 2016. Never mind. And it was, well, it got really good reviews. So I thought, well, should get it, should listen, and I can understand. Okay, you can hear that is, well, that it doesn't have that much energy left, but nothing wrong with the songs, and his effort is great, and it's a nice last album. This is Old Ideas from 2012, also a very good album, and you can, well, he was quite active the last years of his life. I think he issued three albums in his last 4 years, and that was quite good, and all of them are extremely good. I've heard all of them by now, so that's Leonard Cohen. Right, over to a compilation album. This is a reissue of a compilation album from 1989, compiled by David Byrne on his Luaka Bop label, and it is this O Samba with this, well, fairly light clothed girl on the sleeve. Good artist. First of all, Clara Nunez, one of my favorites, and also Alcione and Bet Carvalho. Lots of great singers on this album, and Paulinho da Viola, yeah, well worth having. And I've known for a long time that David Byrne was really interested and into South American music, and this is just goes to show that He issued this series with Brazil Classics. This is number 2, and it is the only one that I have in that series, but I will look for the other ones as well. Okay, this is an album that I've been looking for a long time. It's New Heavenly Blue. It is their second album. I only think they made 2 albums. I got their first one some time ago. This is on Atlantic. It's a bit worn on the sleeve, but the record is fine. One reason why this album is an album that I've been looking for is because an extract from one of the songs has been used as the introduction music for one popular television show here about science called Santo Sont, and the song is called Pegleg Back in 35. But it is a wild country rock album that you get in a very good mood when you listen to it. So it's just not that track that's worth listening to. The whole album is really good. I like their first album too, that I had that since maybe 1 or 2 years ago, but I think this is even better. New Heavenly Blue. As I said, the sleeve looks a bit worn and so on, but the record is fine, and I'm happy that I found it. Okay. To France. I found this album, Jane Birkin, Lolita Go Home from 1975. That is an interesting. It's a French pressing, first pressing, and it's an interesting mix between Serge Gainsbourg songs and American songbook songs like Love for Sale and There's a Small Hotel and What Is This Thing Called Love, together with, as I said, songs by Serge Gainsbourg. And even if Jane Birkin wasn't much of a singer, I mean, she looked great, so on, but she had a quite weak voice. I mean, she didn't sing false. She could hold a note, but it wasn't that strong. She said that herself, so I don't think I'm insulting anybody or her if I say that. But her voice fitted perfectly to the French pop that Serge Gainsbourg produced and wrote back in those times. Great accompaniment, great funky vibe in many of the songs, and all in all, a very well made album. And as I said, Serge Gainsbourg is almost always interesting. Okay, over to Peruvian legend, living legend, because she's still around. I'm talking about Susana Baca. Susana Baca. Singer, cultural personality. She was even cultural minister of cultural affairs in Peru a couple of years ago. A very short period, though. Music is much more fun than politics, of course. This is another record that's produced by David Byrne, and it's on the Luaka Bop label, this as well. It's a reissue from her album from 1997. I think it was her third album. And from what I know, she's still active, but she's a very nice voice and lovely South American music here. Susana Baca. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, many years ago, I found the double album with An Evening with Groucho Marx that contains his show recorded at Carnegie Hall in 1972. I now have found the single album issue on picture disc. So it doesn't contain all the material from the original double album, but like many of the songs and some of the stories. But I will show you this very Nice looking picture disc. I do not really collect picture discs, but this was very nice, and of course the recording is interesting too. So it'll be a nice display, and it's in great shape too. By the legend Groucho Marx, who was very old in 1972, but still very, very funny. You can't take that away from him. Okay, finally, I'm going to show you a couple of records in a German series called Glücklich, a collection of, well, mainly, I think it started with German music with a Brazilian flavor, and then it turned more and more Brazilian, and then they started having music from other parts of the world as well. And well, it's a little bit of a Latin jazz collection, and these are the first 4 volumes from 1994 up until the last one is from 2000. No, wait. No, I'm looking at the wrong one. That's number 2. That's number 3, and that's number 4. From 2000, yeah. And they don't look that super interesting, but they, well, all of them have Volkswagens on the front of the sleeve, like this. Apart from number 4, I don't know if that is a Volkswagen. I wouldn't think so. Maybe it is. It doesn't look like one though. But very nice, interesting Latin jazz, and I got it very, very cheap as well, so I was happy about that. And well, yeah, that's about what I had to show this time. Thanks for watching, and have a nice evening and day and whatever. Bye bye.